Well, it's that time of the year again when people start spreading their germs around. And singers are not exempt from catching colds and the flu. As you can hear from my own voice, I have managed to catch a little something, which is highly unusual for me. I woke up this morning with a bunch of gunk in my vocal folds and a thick, copious post-nasal drip, and I could barely squeak out any sound. And despite the fact that I don't take good care of my body, I don't get nearly enough sleep, and I don't always eat the way I should, I have been blessed with a very strong immune system, and I rarely ever get sick. It's actually been years, but whatever I've got is all post-nasal and dripping onto my vocal folds, so that's why I sound the way that I do today. So I have had some viewers ask me about singing while sick. What can we do to make it through performances, and how to alleviate some of the symptoms? Obviously, prevention is the best medicine. Getting plenty of rest, eating healthy foods, including plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables, smoothies are my favorites, limiting our consumption of refined sugars and staying well hydrated are really important. In my house, we try to consume foods and spices that are known to have immune boosting properties, such as peppers, turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, raw local honey. I make an elderberry syrup containing organic elderberries that I get in a dried form from a natural food store or my chiropractor's office. Organic cinnamon, ginger root, cloves, and raw local honey, not the honey of unknown origin and questionable authenticity that comes in bottles shaped like little teddy bears. So you need to get honey that's from a beekeeper near where you live and consume it in the raw form in order to reap its full benefits. So I'll leave the recipe for the elderberry syrup in the description box below. This is something that you can take every day to give your immune system a little bit of a boost, and it can be stored for up to a couple months in the fridge. But let's talk about when you do get sick and whether or not you should sing while sick. The answer isn't really clear-cut, but I'll tell you what I think. I am not a medical professional, but most of this is really just common sense advice. If you have a fever and you're vomiting, you should not be singing. Apart from the fact that no one wants to see your dinner all over the stage, you really should be in bed resting. If you have pneumonia or bronchitis, your lungs are not going to be in great shape, and you should probably not be singing. And in both of these cases, you probably aren't going to feel like singing anyway. If you have any kind of a cough, but especially a dry one, you'll probably find that singing causes the irritation of your airway to increase, and that can lead to more coughing, which can lead to swelling on the vocal folds. If you have a cold, a common cold, you might be able to keep singing. If it's a chest cold, maybe not, because you're going to cause that irritation in your airway. If it's all post-nasal and the mucus is sort of sitting on your vocal folds, like what I have, you may be able to sing, but you might not like how it sounds. I can't even control my pitch right now, as you can hear. If the cold is just blocking your nose or sinuses, you can probably keep singing safely. You just won't be able to pronounce your nasal consonants, and the pressure buildup when you try to sing those nasal sounds can be a little bit uncomfortable. Apart from continuing to eat healthful foods, resting, staying well hydrated so that the mucus can be thinned and cleared more easily, that includes using a humidifier in your home and taking any medications that your doctor might prescribe. There's really little else that you can do to make yourself more comfortable and speed up your recovery. I had to pull out a package of Fisherman's Friends this morning, just to help thin and clear the mucus. I had been using them for years. My former singing teacher actually suggested them like 20 some odd years ago, and I have used them ever since because they're unlike a lot of other lozenges that leave sort of a coating on the throat to help soothe the throat. These are really good. They're just menthol and eucalyptus, and they help to clear out that mucus and thin it. I even use it when my allergy symptoms are really bad. I have year-round allergies and I take medication for it, which is why sometimes I'm a little bit dry as well. And you know, I'm lying in bed sometimes and that post-nasal drip is sort of unbearable. I'll pop in a Fisherman's Friend and it helps to kind of clear things and move things along. A lot of people don't like how they taste, and they do leave kind of a brownish yellow coating on the tongue, which is kind of unattractive. But other than that, I don't mind the flavor, and they're actually, like I said, I swear by them. I've even used them during performances in the past. I've just tucked one up underneath my cheek. It's never popped out onto the stage, fortunately. You can also try things like nasal irrigation to help clear things out of your nasal passages. And while steaming doesn't directly impact anything in the larynx, if your sore throat is caused from vocal injury, it can still moisten, and that can cause some temporary relief of symptoms. If you have a dry, unproductive cough, meaning a cough that is really serving absolutely no purpose whatsoever, it's just caused by irritation of the airway and isn't expelling any mucus, then you may be tempted to cough to get that little tickle out, but coughing is really hard on the vocal folds. I used to have a lot of respiratory issues, and I made this mistake for far too many years, too many times. I would cough so much and so violently, especially when I had bronchitis issues, which was quite frequent when I was younger, that my vocal folds would be swollen for months. So when the cough was dry, I learned to fake a cough to satisfy my body's reflex without slamming the vocal folds together every time all day long. In general, it's best to just let the cold run its course. Take a break from singing for a few days if you can. In the grand scheme of things, a couple days off from singing is not going to cause you to fall behind. But pushing through sickness, forcing yourself to practice like you ordinarily do, can actually cause the recovery to take much longer. And I know it's really tempting to sing when that's what you love doing more than anything else, but sometimes you have to put your health first. But if you absolutely must sing when you have a cold, because let's say you have a performance that you can't get out of or that's very important to your career, there's something that you might want to be aware of, which is developing compensatory techniques that may be hard to shake long after you've shaken the cold. Because our sinuses might be blocked, or our ears might be infected, or our voices sound deeper than usual, we might be tempted to change how we sing, our technical approach. And this is one of those situations in which we need to rely on the skills and coordination that we've drilled into our muscle memory, even when our ears and our heads can't quite tell if it's right, and just trust that our bodies know what they're doing because they've been doing it correctly for a long time. And that's why it's so important to solidify our technique, especially when we're healthy. So I am going to go now, and I'm going to give my own voice a rest so that I can be fully recovered for performance that I have scheduled for next week. Happy, healthy singing.